Hi, this is Frank Walker of Frank Walker Law, and today I want to talk to you about what to do if you are the victim of a crime in Allegheny County. If you are a victim of a crime, this must be a difficult situation. However, that doesn't mean you don't have rights. You do have rights as a victim. In Allegheny County, you have a right to be heard. In order to do that, you have to reach out to the police officer. That police officer will be your first line of advocacy on your behalf. They're going to take a report from you. They're going to give you their information. If you have any questions or you need to follow up on that report, you're going to reach out to that police officer. In some instances, you may have a victim advocate reach out to you, and their purpose is to answer any questions you may have about the process. Now, if someone is arrested for a crime and you are the victim of that crime, there are certain hearings that may happen. There is an arraignment in the very beginning where they set bond. There's a preliminary hearing where two things need to be proven. One, that a crime was committed. Two, that person who is the defendant is more likely the person who committed the crime. Credibility, who's lying, none of that's an issue. But you may be called to testify at that hearing. And if so, you'll be contacted by the police officer. You may be also contacted by the victim advocate and maybe even the assistant prosecutor on that case. And they'll talk to you about your testimony and make sure you feel comfortable going through that process. After that process, if there's enough evidence to bound the matter over for a common police court, there's a huge waiting period. There's a long waiting period where it may seem like nothing is happening. However, the case is working its way through the system up to a formal arraignment, a pretrial conference, and eventually a trial. The prosecutor assigned to the case should reach out to you and answer any questions you may have. The victim advocate may reach out to you and answer any questions you may have. But feel free to reach out to them if you have any questions. But the case just won't magically disappear simply because there's nothing going on. There is a time period that elapses between the preliminary hearing and the actual time it goes to trial. If that person is not to have any contact with you, please don't start any conversations with them. Please don't answer any of their phone calls. Don't accept any calls from the jail if that person is incarcerated, because those calls are recorded. And those calls may be used against that person at trial. Because typically the purpose of them calling from the jail, if there is a no contact order, the purpose of them calling is probably trying to intimidate you. Don't put yourself in that position. Report any calls to the victim advocate, report them to the prosecutor assigned to your case, and if you are called to testify, understand that you have a lot of people who are with you. They're going to support you. They're going to keep you separate from going into the courtroom to ensure that you are protected and safe from any type of retaliation or intimidation. You have rights as a victim. Simply because you made the charge doesn't mean you are no less of a person. If you are a victim in a case, you have rights, and those rights need to be addressed, and those rights need to be protected throughout the entire process. So please understand you have people who are going to protect you, people who are going to be in your corner, and people are going to be available to answer any questions you may have. So reach out to the officer on your case, reach out to the victim advocate on your case, and reach out to the prosecutor on your case. But understand this is a long process that you will go through. And don't let anyone intimidate you from being a victim and making a claim against your safety or against some harm that was done to you or your family. Again, thank you for listening. Any questions, reach out to me via the numbers below. And again, I hope you have a great day.